So for the first part of today, you need to create scenes. I've got a menu scene. I've got a gameplay scene, and you might have a scene from last week's work. I will add a new scene, file, new scene. I'm just gonna save it as save scene as win. I'll have a message here. I will have another new scene. I'm going to save it as lose. So under assets, I've actually got win and lose, but I'm going to move them into scenes because, so I've just created two new scenes. So I've got gameplay, win, lose. A very important thing to remember is that if you go to your build settings, you will see that you don't have anything there. If you go to file, build settings, you will see that you don't have any scenes here. If you don't have any scenes here, the buttons which are programmed to jump to the gameplay scene or to jump to the win screen or to jump to the lose scene, they will not work. So one thing that you have to do is you have to get your menu, gameplay, win, lose, and have one more for credits. So you can have credits and it goes to, you can get a credit. Yeah, why not? Create a new scene and save it as credits, and I'll save it under scenes. So all I have is these different scenes, right? An important thing is that under build settings, all of these should be there. They should be under build settings. Okay? Otherwise the linking doesn't work. First thing. Now getting your graphics into Unity. I'm recording this, so hopefully I should be able to put this up as well. So first step, I made all the scenes and I've put all the scenes under build settings. Second step is I will get my images. You can get a PSD, you can get, I'll delete these. You can get a PSD, you can get a PNG. It is very happy to take both. So what you do is, just in the interest of being organized, have a folder for your images or sprites. And I'm going to import my images. I have saved them under this project. I've actually saved it under assets. Oh no, I have not. Sorry, I lied. I just deleted it. I'm going to get it from an older folder. Got that. And I had another. I wanted to show you how sometimes you can have various buttons for hover and press. So I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm just going to make 3 buttons here. I've got a second one here. And when the mouse goes over this, I'm going to change the yellows to green. One way of doing it is I go to image, adjust hue saturation, and instead of master I will say yellows. And when I change the yellows, you can see It's also changing a bit of the light, which is okay. It's like a glow, you know. But if I want to be a bit fussy, I can change this range here as to what type of yellows should be changing. See this? See this? If I make an adjustment here on the spectrum, these brackets, so that's the exact color, and these things are the tolerance. I can, but I'm quite happy with the bit of an extra glow. It looks like a glow, you know, when I hover over it, looks like a glow. Okay. And when I press on it, I'm just gonna make a copy of it, move it, adjustment again, hue saturation. I'll say greens this time. And when it clicks, I'll just make it blue or kind of red.
Now it starts off by telling us to change our timeline and all that stuff. I'm going to show you how to do that and where to actually get these files from. So on the server, there should be a folder which is called tutorials.
So I've got these 3 sprites there with me. I also want to show you that both PNG and PSD will work. So I'm going to save this as, a PNG. And I'm going to save it in my project folder. My project folder is here. I've got images and I'm going to call it start button. But really, you should make all your buttons on one gigantic file. Like this, you should make all your buttons on one gigantic file. Everything, just put it on one big sprite. Don't make the sprite bigger than 1024. It just behaves funny if you do. Now, how do you extract the buttons from your image? I'll just show you. First thing, it should not be a texture. It should be a sprite. First thing. This sprite has got multiple images, so it should be multiple. So sprite, multiple. And then to split them, you go to sprite editor. Apply the changes and say start slicing. See that? If I click trim, it just clamps around the edges. You know why? Because this is what it sees. It's going to ignore the black anyway. This is what it sees. That's the alpha. So I'm going to keep drawing and I'm going to keep trimming. That was bad. I can undo. So you can keep on trimming. And finally, when you're done, you say apply. Okay? I'll take this sprite because I need this for my credit scene. Take this one. If you get a wrong sprite, just undo it.
Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is show your skeleton. So go to display and turn on.
I apply all of these bits. You can see what happens now is this image has got an arrow because these sprites are embedded in that asset. I'm going to do this one the same. When you have an image, you must say it's a sprite. You must say it is multiple. Go to the editor and get the images.
So your system may not be set up for that, so I'm just going to show you how to do it, so you know. So over on the right-hand side...
So today's task is to get our interface and to get it working. The script has to work. I'll show you why I did this. Apply this. Now let me go to my scene, which is the main menu. I'm in the main menu. And this is something I did the other day when I was first So okay, I'll leave this as a background. I can have stuff on my menu.
Clicking down,
I can have something bouncing.
and it'll set your timeline.
I'm going to create a UI element, game object,
We're not going to use
UI,
we're going to use one as a start of the
image.
timeline.
No, button. Game object, UI, button.
So when you bring in your
So I've got a button.
into things like Unity,
That's my button there.
frame 0 is typically a T-pose. And so when you're
You see this button, it has got two parts. It's got the text.
the T-pose is play button,
See what's changing?
game, and then it drops in.
The deletes button is changing at the bottom. Oh, of course, you guys can't see. Hang on.
From all the other stuff we've done, probably the most important pose out of everything. So once it's there, when you've done all that, then we can start to choose. Now, it says we're using odd number of frames here, purely so we've got a frame in the middle of frame 17. This is going to be where our crossover pose is going to occur. What we're doing is we're doing pose to pose.
You can't see that because
And at the moment mine says it's frame 1702. So I'm just going to come over.
can you see the button? Yeah, the bottom left it says deletes button. I'll move it in a second. This button, if I press Alt and click here, I can position it in the top
Now, what you're going to be doing is this tutorial.
middle.
Do this walk cycle. So it's just easier for you to do this. A few auxiliary buttons
Okay.
there, which makes your life a bit
This text is merely the text that appears on it. I can change the font. And as I mentioned last week, if you want to use another font, if it's free,
Now, when you
make sure your font is somewhere in the assets folder.
things might go a little bit haywire
Okay?
on you,
But really, I don't need this text at all, so I'm going to delete it. This button, I'm going to call it start.
motion border has a bit of a hit and miss affair with the mirroring of poses. However,
I want to show you a few things about this start button.
mirror poses,
You see here, it's got a graphic.
that's one of those mirror poses. My pose.
It says the source image UI sprite. If I click on this and I go here and say start,
And then go to another frame.
I can say set native size.
Mirror image of that pose.
That's the actual size.
So therefore we don't have to actually move the character.
I'll leave it.
Walk cycle.
I'm just going to change the width of it a bit.
Walk cycles in games is very important.
Come here,
Most used.
start. Just going to reduce the width so it doesn't look stretched.
So you've got walks and runs. So they're the ones that
It'll get a bit blurred, but that's okay.
and then you've got things like
Sorry?
On canvas rendering, I think you can observe the aspect.
Yes, you can. You can. But it does do something funny to that. So I won't. I'll just live with this. Because then I can't get back.
also know that YouTube
So I'm going to live with this. But yeah, you can preserve aspect. You can set native size. There are a few things you can do with that.
has more than
The main thing I wanted to show you here is
make millions of dollars.
you can say transition. Now usually you can by default it has color tint, which means when you hover over it, it can tint. You can choose a color tint, highlighted tint. If you don't want to make multiple bitmaps, you can use it. And you can say, okay, tint with yellow, which means when you play
It's ridiculous. But hey, that's the way the world is now.
and you hover, it should give you a tint. No, it didn't work. Oh, that was normal color. Highlighted color.
Yeah.
Let me see highlighted color.
So also on that particular on the server,
Yeah, so it does change a highlight.
there'll be a few things
But
to show
what I had in mind was to show you Sprite
doing with the
Swap.
PDF version of Maya here.
So highlighted sprite would be
This is over a 25 frame range, so it's still
the green one.
frames, so we get a frame per 13.
The press sprite would be
Um,
the red one.
beginning and end
And if you're a bit clever in Photoshop, you can actually move the text 1 pixel to the right and 1 pixel down. What happens is when you click, it looks as if the text has pressed, gone down.
the main page.
I didn't do that,
And so
but
you'll be mirroring that one there,
okay.
that one there, don't
So that's what I wanted to show you about this button.
you? So this one here, will
So
be- and this one will be
I'll tell you what buttons you need. You need start, you need credit, you need end, you need quit. You need the quit as well. We are going to apply Let me get a quit button actually, because I want to show you the scripts for these two. How to go to another scene and how to go to quit. So you can put credit scene if you want, and I might add that. So let's go and get those.
So remember, in your
So I'm just going to go to start. I'm going to make a copy of start. I'm going to call this quit. I'm going to move it.
there's a bit of a difference there with some of the places. But still,
I'm going to make another copy of start.
there's also
I'm going to call it
another one in here, which is
credits.
positions, poses, for walk cycles. That's telling you what frame things are supposed to be on. So they're in
So
there.
I've got start, I've got credits, I've got quit. The start is okay, credits. I'm going to change this to credits, and I will make this color tint because I don't want it to swap. Quit, I'll change this to quit, and I'll change this to color tint. I just want to show you these three main scripts and how to apply it. It's a bit tricky, but I want you to then start creating your interface and your game and keep the scene ready so that next week we can go into gameplay and make a flat floor, make a player move with mouse movement, keyboard movement. We may apply a camera script, and we will let the player interact with two types of objects. Objects that he can pass over, like health packs, weapons, upgrades, and objects that one can collide into. So I'm going to give you the basic mechanics. How you use it, what concept you apply to actually then make a working version of that is up to you. So the script for this is a bit tricky. And I will be giving you this script.